So what is the mobile app even for? A lot of people sign up, SynkedUP, they love the budgeting, they do the estimating, and maybe they trickle off from there or fail to go much further. The mobile app is for a lot. Basically, you can run your whole business from it. If you're a one-man show or a two-man show and you're out in the field all the time, you can literally do everything you can from the desktop from the mobile app. Create estimates, send invoices, add a customer, send a proposal, all that kind of good stuff. It's going to be for your time tracking. So the guys out in the field doing the work are going to clock in, clock out, and that's going to give you true data from what's actually happening out in the field. It also allows you to do the material tracking. So when they clock out, what'd you use today? I used 5 yards of this, 10 of these, 7 of those. Gives you all the job information on the job. So the foreman, the leader can look in and say, all right, this job has these work areas, these are materials through the job, here's the hours we have allocated, here's where we're at so far, here's how much farther we have to go. Customer information to call, any notes, photographs, videos, everything's right there available at your fingertips. The digital job folder is what we call that. Again, the client information is in there. You can route right to their house with a touch of a button, follow the directions, create your estimates, do your invoicing, scheduling, basically everything. So why is any of that even important? The business needs to collect that to see what's actually happening out in the field. Without that information coming back from the crew leaders, from the foreman, of what's really happening out there, you have no idea what's going on. Your estimate could be as awesome as you think it is, you send it off, and you never check back against that. It could have been the worst estimate ever created on this planet. So we need that information of, hey, I thought we were going to take 10 of these, we used 10, perfect, I nailed it. Or I thought this was going to take 4 days, it took 37 days. I really screwed up. Why? What did I do wrong? Was it an estimating problem? Was it a crew problem?
Yeah, so on that point, like, how many of you here have ever shot a rifle at a target? A rifle at a target. How many of you walked away and went home without ever looking at the target after you shot? Anybody? Nobody? That's what happens when you estimate a job but then never job cost it. It's like you shot at the bullseye and you never looked to see where you hit. You could be completely missing.
So then how do I get my team on board with using it? So this is something we hear a lot, people that get frustrated and come back and are struggling with it. The first thing I'm going to say is be the leader. You own the company. You decided that you need this information to make the company more efficient, more profitable, have a better living for you and your guys. Be the leader and say, we're going to do this. Be patient, be humble, and guide them through, but don't let your guys tell you how you're going to run your business. I think there's a fear out there with obviously the labor shortage or whatever you want to call it, that I'm going to let my guys do whatever they want so I don't lose anybody. If that's the case, let them go. You'll find better guys that will listen. So if you're struggling with this, man up, woman up, whatever, and tell the guys, here's what we're doing, here's why, explain it, give them the why, and then give them the how on how to get there. But don't let your crews run the show.
And on that point, what you tolerate, you promote. So if you let them text their hours at 5 o'clock on Friday to you and be like, that's good enough to run payroll, that's what they're gonna do. If you put it in your handbook that for you to get paid, you have to track your time through this app, you don't have to pay them for anything they don't track. And one payroll cycle, that'll fix it. You know, it's a leadership discipline thing. I mean, at Tussie, we have people that hate tech. We have people that wouldn't even have cell phones if they didn't work there. But without clocking the hours, they don't get paid. And I know that sounds harsh, but the point I'm trying to make is what you tolerate, you promote. If you accept them to circumvent the system and hack it and do whatever, that's what you're gonna get more of.
Yeah, and give all the training and support they need.
Yeah, it doesn't work to just shove the app under their nose and say, there, figure it out.
Learn this, give it to them Friday, say Monday we're using this. No, ease into it, start small, set up some practice jobs, play with it. Give them the time, but say we're doing this, we're going to figure it out. The next thing I'll say is base payroll off of it. If the guys are getting paid based on what they enter into the system, I guarantee that information is going to be much more accurate. When they're clocking into a clock at the shop, and that was what they were based pay on, and then you continue doing that and say, enter the stuff in SynkedUP so I have it for job costing, you're going to get garbage. because they're saying, I don't really care about this, the boss wants this, it doesn't matter to me. But when their paycheck is based on what they enter, that value of that data will go through the roof.
Yeah, and it's basically to the point where we ask that question in the sales process. Like, are you willing to base your payroll off of this time? Because if you're not, then we're not convinced that you're a good fit yet. It's the single biggest indicator whether it's going to work or not for you. Are you basing your payroll off of it?
One suggestion you can use if you aren't used to an old school time clock or whatever is do both for a little while. It takes 2 seconds to clock in to a time clock, but at the end when you run payroll, those numbers have to match. And when they don't, find out whoever doesn't match and hold them accountable. Because then you'll know for sure where you're lacking and need more training and education. And then create games and contests out of hitting goals. With the app, you have all the information of how many hours are estimated for whatever work area job. Come up with games, come up with incentives. When you hit that, you get this. If we beat this job, we'll cut out early on Friday. Whatever it might be, all the information is there at your fingertips, both you and the crew member, the foreman, to know where they're at all times. So you can use that and incentivize them to beat things and play with it a little bit. So this is a video walkthrough of clocking in. You select the job, select your crew members, what work areas everyone's working on. Go ahead and do the work. You've got the digital job folder right there, all the information you might need, how many hours are allocated, what materials are needed, notes, photographs, videos.
When I was a foreman on Tussie's crew, like that digital job folder, like that was my playground. Like in the beginning, that was my motivation, is so that digital job folder would show me the information I wanted to know as a crew leader. Like Fred's saying, that whole rap sheet, the materials, the quantities, what did I record so far, the pictures, the videos, the progress bars, all of that.
And this cuts way back on the back and forth between the field and the office. Hey, how many yards did I need to grab, or what am I ordering, or where does this pipe go? Everything is at their fingertips right there in the app, at all times.
You can share the job details like a delivery driver. Just like in the top right corner, hit share, and it'll just send the address, everything to that person.
So then when you clock out, is it going to stop the clock? And now the list of materials that were estimated on that job pop right up, and you just run down the list and say, I used X amount of these, X amount of those, 2 of those, add things, status of the job, then any notes you want to send back to the office, or if you want to send the customer a note, you can add it right there. And all that's captured and stored both back in the web app and on the mobile app. So it's accessible for someone back in the office or on the go. So training is key. Obviously, there's a lot of information in that app, a lot of places to click and move around. So training is definitely key. We have a full foreman learning track which walks through everything in the mobile app, both in English and Spanish. That was added earlier this spring. Thanks, Chris Cooper. Set up a sample job again. Let the guys play with it. Set up some fake job. They can't mess it up, and have them clock in. Pretend they're working, clock out, track materials, add pictures to the attachments folder, all that kind of stuff. Like, get them familiar with something that doesn't matter before you roll them out into the real world. And then encourage the team to look around. Like, have them download it, go home, open a cold beer, flip around in the app, see what's there, see where things go, see what the flow is like.